Hello, hello, everyone. This is Danya Zimmerman, the powerful biz woman, and thank you so much for tuning in to the Ultimate Business Conversation. My business partner, grown woman, Alina Lopez Thomas, she could not join us today because of allergies. We know how allergies can be and everything, but I am so glad that Miss Quinn Connors, I call her the pitch queen. She has a new book out, says, I think it's called Speak Up Woman. If I said it wrong, let me know. But I just love her. I love her energy. I love her power. I love her because she educates business owners, especially women, how to get the word out about your business, how to use your voice as a way to promote, advertise, and make money in your business. And today, as you can see, she looks lovely in one of her uh, head wraps. I love her head wraps. And the new photo that she gave me to use, it's just so powerful and beautiful. She's going to give you some tidbits about what she will be talking about at the UBC 2021 Bankroll Proof Your Biz conference. And she was with us last year. And I appreciate her being with us last year with all that had happened and everything that happened. I'm just so glad that she was willing to do it because we had to pivot, as they say. We had to go from live to virtual because of the quarantine. But to this year, we're going to be live and virtually. So I'm just so excited. And I'm going to give the floor to Miss Connors. Miss Connors, tell us who you are, what your business is about, who do you serve, and what you are passionate about.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for having me on the show. I am super excited to not only be on your show, but to be a speaker at your upcoming conference. And for those of you who are brand new to me, my name is Quinn Conyers, and I broadcast the brilliance of Black women in business. I show you how to turn conversations into cash so you can profit from public speaking. I personally believe that a Black woman's voice is her secret sauce if she wants to be super successful in business and earn ridiculous revenue. And I talk all about that in my brand new book, and it's called Speak Black Woman: How Women in Business Can Profit from Public Speaking.
What will you be? Give us a little bit of your presentation. What will you want to discuss with the attendees, especially because these are aspiring entrepreneurs and
Mm-hmm.
they may want to know how to really get the word out about their business, how to really make their brand pop. So, what would you say to an aspiring entrepreneur when it comes to the beginning phase of marketing, branding your business?
I would say that your number one marketing strategy should be your mouth. And a lot of times when entrepreneurs first enter this industry, they spend a bunch of money on things that are needed and they completely avoid the things that are necessary. And what I mean by that is they will spend money on a website, they will spend money on hiring a coach. But if you ask them, what do you do? They have a really tough time answering that question. So, what I'm going to be talking about at your conference is how to have conversations that lead to cash, right? Because at the end of the day, if you want someone to swipe that credit card or if you want someone to pay that invoice, it all starts with you being able to answer the question, what do you do? And if you can answer that question right, it can really help your business. But if you answer it wrong, it can hurt your business. So I'm excited to be a speaker in person at the conference because I'll be talking about how women in business, how men in business can really have conversations that lead to cash. So if that is exciting to you, you definitely want to be at my session because I'm going to give you a real eye opener on how you can do that.
Oh wow, that's amazing. And when a person is crafting about what do they do, some people say you should have no more than an elevator pitch, no more than 30 seconds, no more than maybe 60 minutes. How long do you think a person should have when someone asks them, what do you do? Especially when you're a beginning entrepreneur, because some people like to tell you their whole story and everything. And you like, and you lose the person when they ask you, what do you do?
Well, I don't think it's about how long. I mean, you definitely don't want to go on and on. I mean, I have said what I did in 10 seconds, 30 seconds, and 60 seconds. I think it's about what you want the goal to be. So it's about being sure that what you do is clear, concise, and compelling.
That makes sense. And when a person talks about their business, especially to a potential client, a lot of people will say that focus on the client, because sometimes as entrepreneurs we make it about ourselves. What tips do you give to a newbie business owner, a newbie entrepreneur, to make sure that they focus on the potential client that's in front of them?
Well, I think it starts with getting clear on who your target client is. A lot of times when people are new to the business industry, they want to sell to everybody and anybody who has a hand and a heartbeat, right? So I would say before you try to sell your product, your service, your coaching program, your book, who are you really talking to? So getting crystal clear on the client or customer who can best benefit from what you have to offer. And a lot of times we don't take the time to get to know that person. And we heard about a client avatar, but I think that's a real thing. You really need to get crystal clear on who is it that you really serve. And once you know who you really serve, it's easier to offer them your product and not try to sell your product or service.
Okay, now some people may not know what the avatar is. I kind of learned it. Can you just give them a little bit what a client avatar would be? Just a little snippet.
So, a client avatar is the person who is the right or ideal person to buy your product or service. So, what you're doing is you're writing down their characteristics, what they like, what they don't like, what their frustration is, what their problems are. So, you are almost creating a persona, or you're humanizing the person that you want to talk to. Because a lot of times we're trying to sell to people who don't need our product. So, it really is you doing a deep dive into really realizing who it is that you're talking to and making sure that you're speaking their language, you're doing their dance, you're singing their song, right? So if you are trying to sell country music and you're in the heart of Baltimore City or Detroit, where the majority of the people like hip hop, then you in the wrong crowd, right? So it's really about knowing, who is the perfect person that would best benefit from what you have to offer.
Now that's good. Knowing a perfect person. That is perfect, because I think a lot of times, including myself, we get into this. I have to sell to everybody. I have to sell to everybody. And for me, it took me a long time to figure out who was my avatar, who was my, I call it client avatar, who was my ideal person, to know. And how did you go about figuring out who your clients were, like your client avatar? What did you do?
Well, I knew for a fact that I wanted to serve women. I have a soft spot for women. But to be honest with you, it was a friend of mine who pointed out that I love super serving Black women. She had asked me, like, Quinn, who's the majority of the people that buy from you? Right. And sometimes we're too busy trying to find someone to buy from us where the person has already showed themselves. Right. And she's like,
Mm-hmm.
well, why don't you just choose Black women? And I'm like, why would I choose Black? I was like, why do that? And she's like, well, look how you dress, Quinn. You look like you stepped off the cover of Wakanda, right? Like this is you on a regular. So why not just focus on Black women? And I said, you know what? You're right. Black women, this is not my first business. It's my second business. They were the ones who put food on my table and clothes on my kids' back. So at the end of the day, it wasn't like I said, I want to choose Black women. But when I looked up and looked around on who was supporting me with their time, their talent, their dollars, who was referring me, it was Black women. And when I would speak or serve, I would get the most joy and fulfillment of serving people who look like me. So again, it's about who is already coming to you that you don't have to fight for. And a lot of times we're fighting for clients who are not showing up for us. We want more white women. We want more Asian women. We want more white men. And that's all well and good. But if you got a whole rack of Black women standing in line, you know what I mean, with their wallets out and their credit cards in hand, I'm gonna go ahead and super serve them. So ask yourself who is already coming to you and super serve them versus going out and trying to find someone to want to buy your product.
That makes sense, to go with the people who are actually supporting you. That really makes sense, because you are absolutely right, Quinn. A lot of times, we may hire business coaches and they try to tell us you need to do this person, that person, reach out to all of these people. And then the one thing that happens is you're all over the place and you don't know who you're marketing to, who you're targeting. And when you do your marketing, it's like people are confused. Like, who are you trying to serve? Are you trying to
Right.
serve Asians? Are you trying to serve Black women? Are you trying to serve Black men? And you're right. You have to be clear and focus. What do you say to that aspiring entrepreneur who has this belief, because a lot of people who go into business, they really think they're going to be making $100,000 within 6 months. They see a lot of these on social media where people say, "Oh, I made $100,000 within 6 months," but they don't tell you the backstory of how long it took them to get their business going. So, what do you say to that aspiring entrepreneur to let them know not to give up and don't compare their success to another person's success?
Well, first of all, we have to understand that before you become a millionaire, you have to become a thousandaire. So let's be clear about that. And everybody wants the $1 million status, not understanding that you have to get to that first. That's the first thing. The second thing, only 10% of the population makes six figures. Okay. So the average Black woman in business makes $27,000 a year in their business. So there is a lot of marketing and gimmicky because six figures sounds good. Six figures can be $100,000, it could be $200,000, it could be $395,000. So at the end of the day, it's not about the six-figure mark. It's about what is the number that you need to feed your family, what's the number that you need to sustain your household, because you can make six figures and still be broke. I know it. People are doing it because they're house poor. They got this money, they think, but they can't really afford the mortgage, or they got this car, they can't afford the note. So be very mindful, because at the end of the day, if somebody is making six figures, it did not take them 6 months to learn that. Even if they try to teach it to you, there's so many learning curves and there's so many industries and there's so many nuances. So it really kind of aggravates me, to be honest, when people use that marketing strategy as, I'm going to teach you how to make six figures in this amount of time, because six figures
Yeah,
needs to be defined to me. And at the end of the
exactly.
day, you could be very happy making $95,000 a year, but that's not celebrated. And I also don't like to give these fake benchmarks of success, right? Six figures can be successful to somebody else, but if somebody is used to making $50,000 a year in their business, I mean, at a corporate job, and now they make $75,000, that could be a huge win for them. And I think that we don't celebrate that enough, especially knowing the statistics, which most people don't know. I know the statistics because this is my space. So, yeah, run quick for all those six figures in 6 minutes, six figures in 6 months. I just don't think it's scalable. Even though I give you the strategy, you got to leave room for human error. And a lot of these people are still working and doing a lot of different things. So I'm not a huge fan of that. I do think that six figures is a great obtainable goal, but you want to be realistic about that and see who you're following. Because did they make six figures in 6 months? Probably not.
Exactly. You are absolutely right. Did they make six figures in 6 months? And they probably didn't. It amazes me how people will say that, but they'll never tell you how long it took them. How many years it took them to be able to do that. And that's what I tell people. You know, Ask them about their backstory. That's why I
Mm-hmm.
like um business, entrepreneurs like you, small business owners like you, because you don't mind. You're very transparent about what you do. Now, I want to know what inspired you to write your book.
You
This
know,
is
mhm.
was this your first book?
This is actually my third book.
Yeah.
This is my
But
third book, and I do have a copy of it. And again, if you're interested in buying it, it's at Target. It's
oh yeah.
barnesandnobles.com. You can also go to my website, speakblackwoman.com. If you want an autograph copy, go to speakblackwoman.com and I'll sign it for you. But if you want it in a day, I'm not Amazon, okay? I'm going to take a couple days
Okay.
to get from me. But you can go to Amazon, Target.com, barnesandnobles.com. But what inspired me is because I would meet all these fabulous, amazing women who I'm talking about associate's degrees, bachelor's, master's, PhDs, 20, 30 years experience, and literally they didn't have the confidence to speak up for their greatness. So I feel like speaking has been my secret sauce in business. So if you want to fund your business, you need to speak. If you need more customers or clients, you need to speak. If you want an innovative marketing strategy that doesn't have a lot of overhead, you need to speak. So the more I found that I could liberate, illuminate, and amplify the voices of Black women, the more money they can make. And I just don't think that people understand how much value it is when you speak up, how much value it is when you can
Wow.
confidently verbalize your value and articulate your awesomeness. So there's a huge need. There is no reason why that we are starting businesses faster than any other race. Since 2007, Black women businesses have increased by 164%. since 2007. So we are starting these businesses, but we start these businesses, we raise our hand to be an entrepreneur, we raise our hand to be a business owner, but we don't understand that you also the salesperson, you the customer service representative, you are the chief everything officer, CEO in real life. However, if you're not speaking up for your business, if you're not marketing, if you're not promoting, if you're not publicizing your business, how are you going to get paid? So my thing is to show people that don't be afraid of your voice. I want you to lean in and leverage your voice. So when you open up your mouth, you're attracting customers and clients and not turning them off.
Exactly. That now that's a good point. That and that's one thing I had to learn, that you have to be present all the time. And you don't have to be on social media every minute, but you should be on there as much as possible. It's okay to do the flyers. They're great, but I've noticed that since I've been doing these shows consistently on a weekly basis, I'm getting people, more individuals interested in our products and services. So you are right. You have to speak up. And what are the three main tips you would give to an aspiring entrepreneur who is just starting, who may not be familiar with social media, who may not know what conferences to go to, or like when people put out speaker applications, which ones would fit them and be right for their business to promote, to market their business? What tips do you give them? Would you
Got you.
give them?
So the first thing is to focus on voice visibility. If you're a speaker, we need to see you, hear you, and experience you. So you don't have to be TikTok and Snapchat and Instagram, Clubhouse and LinkedIn. It's a lot, right? So pick one platform. If you're going to go live every week on Facebook, go live every week on Facebook. So that's where I would start. Make sure you are a thought leader. Make sure people can hear your voice and see your voice. So I would literally pick one social media platform and commit to showing up consistently. Number two, I would also join some type of community or network. Entrepreneurship is hard. It will punch you in your face. It will kick you when you're down. It will steal all your money. You know what I mean? And then give it back to you the very next week,
Yeah.
right? So at the end of the day, we as, Black women, we absolutely need access to capital, but we need community. We need a sister girl to cry on. We need somebody to readjust our crown when it is a little crooked or we're not knowing what we're doing. So you need community. So join a group, an association that really focuses on providing professional development to women in business or Black women in business. And then last but not least, I would say, if you're just kind of starting out and are in your business, make sure you master your elevator pitch, which I'm going to talk about at your conference. Because the number one question that people are going to ask you is not, let me see your website. They're going to ask you, what do you do? And if you answer the question, what do you do correctly, then they'll ask for your business card. Then they'll ask for your website. So a lot of times we tend to focus on putting our energy into everything but being the spokesperson for our brand. So those are the three things that I would definitely focus in on: making sure that your voice is visible, getting involved with a community or a sisterhood that can be a support system, and then mastering your elevator pitch, which I call your verbal business card. So when people do ask you what you do, you can answer that question with confidence.
That is good. I like what you said. And because I'm going to purchase your book, and I really recommend it. So I think that aspiring entrepreneurs need to read that book. And why do you think we need that book? It's, so people will know. I know why I need it. I know, but I want you to
Mm-hmm.
give it, especially for aspiring entrepreneurs who are starting out.
Yeah, for the book, I do a couple things. I tell you how I lost my voice, leaned into my voice, and leveraged my voice. So it is a triple threat. If you need funding, I have a whole chapter on how to use public speaking to fund your business. If you need to market your business in a way that's innovative, that won't break the bank, I have a chapter that focuses on how you can market your business using public speaking. If you need new leads, meaning you want to attract clients and not chase them down. I don't know about you, but every time I chase somebody, I get tired. I ain't got the energy for that, right? So if you want
Exactly.
to track, I literally show you how to profit from public speaking. And I redefine what profit means, not just make money, but gain new customers. That's a profit. Get more leads. That's an addition. So it really is to show you how you can use public speaking in every aspect of your business to grow, to expand, and to scale. So if you are a Black woman in business and you are not speaking up, you're leaving money on the table. If you're a Black woman in business turning down every single speaking opportunity, you are losing opportunities to have free marketing for your business. So there's a system, there's a strategy, there's a structure. And I also peel back the curtains. I didn't wake up like this. I worked for this. Every single thing that I've done, I put blood, sweat, tears, and a little bit more blood in there on top of that. So at the end of the day, I think that it has to be very intentional about how you are going after professional development. And why not have me in the palm of your hands? I'm awesome, right? But again, like, this
Yes.
is something that you can use as a resource and you can come back to, and you can, highlight. But at the end of the day, if you're not speaking, literally quiet women don't make history. And I know that if you're listening to me, if you are a woman of substance and you want to make a mark, you want to leave a legacy, that your voice got to be seen and heard. And this book is going to do that for you.
And I like that. You said your voice must be seen and heard. And
Yes.
why do you say that your voice must be seen and heard? I love that. I love
Because
that.
your voice is not just the words that come out of your mouth. Your voice has a heartbeat. It's a living, breathing thing. It has arms, it has legs. It is something that I know that when I open my mouth, that my voice is a whole vibe. People want to connect with me. What do you do, right? What's going on with you? So once I can get you to understand, how your voice is so valuable to your business, you'll use it more. And a lot of times we've been hushed and muted and muzzled since, the beginning of time. A lot of us have been told don't speak unless spoken to. Women are supposed to be seen but not
Exactly.
heard. Or if you grew up in a Black family, don't tell anybody what goes on in our house. So we have been so conditioned to be quiet that now that we're encouraged to speak up, a lot of Black women don't know how. So it's part of my assignment. It's part of my obedience to really unleash the voice of the Black woman.
That makes sense. And what do you say to that aspiring entrepreneur who says, well, I don't have much to say. I don't know what to say. And I'm afraid that I'm going to say the wrong thing to offend somebody.
Well, it's all about getting comfortable in your own voice, and you got to talk about things that are valuable to you. I'm not out here talking about the stock market. I don't know jack diddly about nobody's Bitcoin. I'm not talking about cars. I'm not talking about traveling to exotic places, even though I like to go places. I'm talking about what I know. So the first thing is you talk about what you know, what your subject matter expertise is. If you don't have any kids, don't be doing parenting classes. But if you got one or two kids, guess what? You can talk about parenting, right? If you know that you're good with taxes or good with numbers, you can talk about what it is that you know. And a lot of times we begin to try to put ourselves in a box, and nobody's asking you to be an expert on anything that you don't have to be. So I think that talking about what you know, talking about your life experience, your story alone, how you got to where you are, is something that can be used as content.
That makes sense. And what do you say to that person who may have done something in the past that they're not proud of, but it was like a magnet to help them start their business so that other individuals can learn from their mistakes? Because I know a lot of entrepreneurs are afraid to, like Lisa Nichols said, share their dip or share their backstory. But I find that the most successful entrepreneurs like you, they don't mind sharing their backstory. What do you say to an individual like that who's afraid to share their I call them your learning points, not failing points, but your learning points, your
Well,
lesson point?
I believe that connection happens in your chaos, right? So we're connected. They want to see when Quinn didn't have it all together, when Danya didn't have it all together, right? So part of sharing your story is all about relatability and connection. At the end of the day, people want to know that you're just like me, that you didn't always have it figured out. They want to know that you're learning as you go. So right now, vulnerability is sexy, right? People don't want to hear that you woke up,
Exactly.
made $1 million, and you on your way to 2 million. They want to wake up and say, you know what? I done filed bankruptcy 5 times. I swiped the credit card. There was no money on there. Couldn't pay my BG&E. That's what they really want to hear. They want to know how it
Yes.
is. So the more vulnerable you are, you're actually building a tighter connection. Gone are the days of people like just being perfect. They want to hear your mess. They want to hear your test. They want to hear when you didn't have it all together, because now it shows that this thing called entrepreneurship is real and not a fairy tale. And people be painting the picture like it's a fairy tale and
Exactly.
it's all good, and it's not all good. There's been times, Lord Jesus, there's been times, underneath this head wrap ain't no edges. Why? Because I snatched them out of all of the stress that I was going through trying to run this
Exactly.
business, right? But they don't want to talk about that. I'll talk about my mess. I'll talk about how I didn't have it all together, how I had to learn, how I withdrawn all of my bank accounts. Like every account was at zero, wasn't nothing in there because I was going after my dreams, right? But that's the price you
Exactly.
gotta pay. Like you can't just wake up and like, I want to be successful. You gotta pay for that. You got success costs. It
Yes.
costs your sanity. It costs your blood. It costs your whole mental capacity. It costs you something. And most people want to be, at that elite level, but you got to give something to get something. And most of the time, it's not pretty. And if you look at anybody who's successful, they got a backstory. Sleeping in cars,
Exactly.
all kinds of stuff, right? You got to pay something to get
Yes,
what you want.
exactly. Yeah, like Tyler Perry when he did the chicken
Yeah,
chicken circuit. Remember when you
yeah.
could go see his plays for $25? I remember I used to go to DC and his plays were $25. He was sleeping in the car as he was doing those plays. And like I told people, when Corona hit, I used to wear the pretty hairstyles, but then couldn't go to the hairdresser, didn't know how to do hair, but I had to keep going. So I had to cut it all off. And like you said, once I cut it, it was like the stress was gone. But you have to be willing to share your story. And I love you, Quinn, because I watch you, I follow you because I have learned a lot from you that consistency is key. And
Yes.
so, how do you stay consistent, especially with your husband and raising your sons? Because I am amazed that, especially mompreneurs, as I call you, y'all do it all. Y'all have family emergencies and y'all still commit. What drives you to stay committed and consistent and determined with everything you do, even when family, emergencies happen and situations with family happen? What keeps you going, especially for aspiring entrepreneurs?
I'm on assignment. Many are called, few are chosen, less are obedient. And I have known very early on what I was put on this earth to do. And I know that when I use my voice and I show up in the world, I'm giving permission to other women as well. So when I know that my voice is attached to other people's legacy and other people's visions, that I can get up every day and do what I want to do. And I'm fulfilled when I do it. There is something magical about seeing a woman get her voice back. It's something powerful. Remind a woman like who the hell she really is. Because sometimes we don't know who the hell we are. And I got to remind you, sis, you are
Exactly.
awesome and amazing. I'm gonna need you to walk with your head held high. I don't care what situation, what relationship you've been through. That doesn't define you, right? So at the end of the day, I think that once you know and you get fulfillment out of it, there's nothing that can stop you, right? And whenever God calls me, home, and he's like, Quinn, this is what I put you on earth to do, and this is what you were supposed to be. I want me and the other person staring back at us to be twins. I don't want to see what I coulda or shoulda woulda been, right? So I make sure that
Exactly.
he put this in my heart. He didn't put in my heart, to be a violinist. He didn't put in my heart to be a swimmer. He didn't put my heart to be an astronaut. He has given me the gift of gab. So I'm gonna keep talking and I'm gonna keep sharing and keep being vocal until my time is done. But I think that once you know your assignment and you're obedient to that assignment, because a lot of us know what we should be doing, we don't do it, right? Then there's a fulfillment
Exactly.
and there's a euphoria that happens, and I like the way it feels. So my husband is very supportive. My kids just think that I talk. My mother still be like, so let me get this straight. You talk to people when they pay you. And I'll be like, yes. She don't get it, but I get it. And I'm walking in that assignment.
And on that note, what do you tell aspiring entrepreneurs? Because a lot of them get upset if their family and friends don't support them, don't support your business. What do you tell them? You know, because I feel like it's not your family's necessarily their job to support you. It's not necessarily your friend's job to support you. If they don't want to support you, you have to understand where they're coming from and they must understand where you're coming from. As long as they allow you to live in your purpose with your assignment and complete it. Because I get a lot of people who get upset if friends don't buy from them and family don't buy from them. I don't have a problem. I just go for people who need what I have, who need my products and services.
Well, you're right. It's not your family's responsibility. It's nice to have, but you also have to understand that entrepreneurship is not for, the faint at heart. And the majority of
Hmm.
people will have a 9 to 5, right? Like that's the normal. So when you're stepping outside of the normal, you're stepping out of your grandmother or your mother who had a job for 30 years and retired, the entrepreneurship is new to them. It's unstable to them. They don't understand it. So instead of getting frustrated.
Exactly.
Understand they're coming from a different era. So yes, you can try to explain it to them, but if you're trying to open up a ice cream parlor and all your family ever did was work at a pizza shop, they're never going to understand you. That's why community is so important. That's why you have to have other people around you, be a part of people who get your hustle and understand why you were trying to do what you do. So although it is nice to have your family's support, it's not, they don't always understand. They're not trying to be mean. They just don't get it because all they knew was go to school, get a job, get a good government job, you know what I mean? And you'll be set.
Exactly.
So now when you come up here breaking generational curses and you begin to do your own thing, your family might not know how to support that. So I wanted to just say that. And I know we're coming to an end at 7:30. I know I have to run at
Yeah.
7:30. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, and what is your last parting advice that you want to give to anyone, and why should they attend UBC 2021?
Well, my last thing is just understand that your voice is valuable and it's your secret weapon in your business. And if you know for a fact that you really want to grow, scale, launch, and really network with other entrepreneurs, then you definitely want to come to, the conference as well as meet me. I'll be there in person. And also you get a chance to get my book because I'll bring my book as well. So if you want to turn conversations into cash, if you really want to learn from experts, because I know that you got a bunch of people coming to this conference, you definitely want to be at this event.
Yes, and the wonderful thing is virtual and live. And Quinn, I want to thank you so much. As
Thank
you
you.
can see, she was running, going somewhere, and she still stayed committed to doing it. Like she
Yes.
said, your voice has a heartbeat. So no matter where you are, do what you need to do in order to make that business grow, in order to get the right clients who want and need your products and services. So Quinn, I want to thank you so much for tuning
Thank
in.
you.
And you have a wonderful evening and safe travels to you. Be careful out there.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Take care. Okay, everyone, as you can see, we have some amazing speakers that will be there. And I was so excited that Quinn was going to be here again this year, like she was last year. And I am so excited. And if you want to be a part of this amazing event, if you want to be around speakers like Leroy McKenzie, Quinn Connors, Leroy Allen, Dr. Joan Henry Fields, we have William Murray, we have Latanya Moore, we have Deltrice Hart Anderson. We have Gregory Dunlap. We have it all. We're going to have attorneys, tax professionals, bankers, business experts. I don't call them business coaches, but I call them business experts. They are going to be in the house. And you must get your ticket today, because the $67 early bird special ticket, me and Alina decided to extend it till June the 10th, but today was going to be our last day. But you really, really need to get your tickets today. Get them today and don't be afraid to get them, because you're going to be in a house. Not only are you going to get these wonderful experts, the mission behind UBC that me and Alina came up with was we wanted to educate aspiring entrepreneurs and even seasoned entrepreneurs, but we mainly focus on startup businesses. But a lot of times we get seasoned entrepreneurs who are starting a new business, who may have closed a business and they're starting a new business. And our premise was to educate you on the legal and financial aspects of being in business, because there were a lot of conferences out there when me and Alina hooked up and we would attend. They would focus on how to get the client, how to market your business, but there were not a lot of conferences that focused on how to legally and financially protect your business. And the only conferences that I've realized that did that were if you wanted to do business with the government, because the government requires you to have your paperwork in order financially and legally. And I met a lot of business owners out there who were doing business and who were successful, but they were not legally and financially protecting their business. And the reason why we came up with the premise, Bankrupt Proof Your Biz, and my accountability partner, Shantae Williams, helped me come up with that, was because when COVID hit, when the coronavirus came, a lot of people had to close their businesses because they were not legally and financially sound. They were not prepared for this type of pandemic. They were not prepared for quarantine. They were not prepared for shutdown. They were not prepared. A lot of us were not prepared. So me and Alina, we felt that the best way to get everybody prepared, just in case another pandemic happens like this, or God forbid something else happens in your life and you have a business, you will be legally and financially protected. You will know how to bankrupt proof your biz. You will know how to cover your biz assets. So make sure that you get your tickets at Bentley, BITLY /bankrupt proof biz. And Quinn Connors, she's going to teach you how it's important to be visible and talk about your voice. And I love what she said, that your voice is human, that it has a heartbeat, that it feels. Every time you come on and talk about your business to people, don't be ashamed. For a long time, I was ashamed to talk about my business. For a long time, I didn't want to come on social media and do a show every week. But I realized that if I am not visible, if my voice is not visible, people will not know who I am. They will not know about my products and services. They will not be interested in who I am. And Quinn is right. You need to have that elevator pitch. What do you do? And you need to know who is your client avatar. Who is your ideal customer? Who should you be targeting? You should not be selling to everybody. You need to just sell to people who you know need your products and services. And at UBC 2021, you will learn that. And she's also going to bring her book. And I am so excited about this book. And I'm going to get an autographed copy of my book from her. And I think you need to get it, especially if you are a business owner, because like she said, you are the CEO, you are the pitcher, you are the voice for your business. So again, this is Diane Zimmerman, the powerful bizwoman. Thank you so much for tuning into Ultimate Business Conversation, and make sure you get your tickets at BITLY Bankrupt Proof Biz, and the tickets will still be on sale, early bird only, into that's the last extension until June the 10th, $67. And let me tell you what you get with that $67 before I let you go. You will have all of these amazing speakers, financial experts. You're welcome, Monica. Thank you for tuning in. Financial experts and legal experts who will teach you how to bankrupt proof your biz, who will teach you how to cover your biz assets. And not only will you be in the house, you can attend this event virtually and in person. Let me say that again. You can attend virtually in the comfort of your home if you don't want to travel. If you don't want to come to Baltimore, Maryland, you can be with us virtually. And not only that, you will get copies of the recordings of each speaker's presentation. You will get a booklet that will have the speaker's information in there. So you'll have the UBC 2021 booklet, and then you will get the Bankrupt Proof Your Biz box. And in this box, it will give you all the tools and resources you need to start your business, because at this conference you're not just going to just be sitting down and chit-chatting and hearing speakers. You're going to actually be doing some work. This is going to be a working conference. So make sure you bring your computer. Make sure you have your notepad. If you're attending virtually, make sure you're comfortable. Make sure you have your lunch, everything you need in front of you, with your computer, with your notepad, and everything you need. Because with this Bankrupt Proof Biz box, you're going to have everything you need. In that weekend, you are going to be on that money. You are going to be ready to start your business. And in that Bankrupt Proof Your Biz box, you will receive an introductory letter from the UBC team. You will receive the recordings from all the speakers. You will receive the ebook, 10 Essential Steps to Bankrupt Proof Your Biz, the ebook. You will receive the Bankrupt Proof Your Biz workbook, which will actually be a business plan. And if you're a aspiring entrepreneur, when you leave this weekend event, this weekend conference, you will have your business plan completed. So that's part of it. And also, you're going to get a 31-day journal to journal and chronicle your first 31 days of starting your business, or, revamping your business, whatever it takes. And then you're also going to get an ebook that says, "Do Not Quit." So this Bankrupt Proof Biz box is really what I think is going to attract people to this event, because and also some of the speakers will be providing you with some resources as well. So when you leave this conference, you will have everything you need. And the reason why we decided to create a booklet with the speaker's information is because sometimes when you go to events, you get cards from the speakers and everything, but then you forget their information and when you really need them. So with this booklet, you will have it, and everything will be digital. So you will have it right there on your computer when you need it. You won't have a lot of paperwork piled up or stuff piled up. It will be on your computer, and you can save it to a special file, and everything will be digital, and you will have it right there when you purchase your ticket. And we are going to ensure that you get copies of the speakers' recordings this time because we learned from last year. So make sure you get your ticket because you are getting, for $67, you are getting a lot. You are getting a lot. You're going to get a lot of valuable information from these speakers. You're going to leave there with a bankrupt proof your biz box with everything you need to either start your business or revamp your business. So again, this is Diane Zimmerman, the Powerful Biz Woman. Thank you so much for tuning into Ultimate Business Conversation. And don't forget to get your tickets at bit.ly/bankrupt proof biz. And the tickets are only going to be on sale until June the 10th for $67. And then it goes up to $147. And I will see you again next week on Wednesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. for Ultimate Business Conversation. Take care. Bye bye and love you. And everybody have a beautiful Memorial weekend and enjoy yourself. Don't work too hard. Take these 3 days to enjoy your family and enjoy yourself and get back to work on Saturday when it comes to your business. Take care. Bye bye.